One of the most triggering words in the English dictionary for me is the word fact. The word fact. Now, this is counterintuitive to a lot of aspects of what I believe. Uh, I certainly am not opposed to evidence. I'm certainly not opposed to the facts. I'm certainly not opposed to people making an explanation and a case around science. But the reason why the word fact, just that four-letter word, hopefully you didn't see me there. I had to count. F-A-C-T. Yes, that's four-letter words. The fact about fact is that it's actually four letters. Okay, I'm getting off topic here. The reason why that four-letter word bothers me is because it is getting very, very, very cliche. It's getting very much to the point to where everybody is just saying, well, the fact is, if you follow the facts, what do the facts say? Insert catchphrase here with the word fact. And it's just it's kind of getting old for me. But that's not really a reason to get me triggered. That can get me annoyed. That could be like, well, whatever. But to get me triggered to where I would want to make a video about it, to where it like just sparks something in me to where I might lose a little bit of sleep over it because it just bothers me that much. Is that people just throwing it around so much? It's I'm gonna give this challenge. The fact is, you don't know the facts. Let me rip the band-aid off with that. The fact is, you don't actually know the facts. The fact is, when you or I say, if we want to make a case and say, if you just follow the facts, look at the data here, and let's just follow logic here and follow the facts and not be emotional. In fact, this fact, that fact, F-A-C-T, all right? I'm not going saying the other word, the naughty word there. But none of us actually know it. And if you watch my earlier videos, you see that I give I believe, a strong case. I even believe it's an indisputable case that truth relies on consensus for distribution. So the fact is that you don't actually know that fact and you were told that fact. How about that for the fact is? So I get pretty triggered by this word. And I'm trying to think of what's a way to navigate around this and through it. Because it's not like I can say, hey, we shouldn't go for the facts. Maybe what I can do is just challenge us that if we are going to dare say something is a fact, you're not allowed to be wrong about that. How about that? How about I'll give a firm stance on that. Once one of us says that something is a fact, you cannot be wrong. You cannot be inaccurate. What would we do if we had that kind of accountability? If we're not allowed to be wrong? The fact is that we can oftentimes be biased about our facts. I remember talking with somebody who was somebody at work who was actually a science major and is now in art. It's kind of interesting. But she had mentioned we were talking about wine. And hey, did you know that they came out with a study that wine can actually be good for you? And there's facts about it. And the first words that were said were, who conducted the survey or who conducted the study? Could it be that the wine companies themselves or the beer companies or whoever are actually trying to find a fact that could help their cause, right? That doesn't mean the fact isn't true. It doesn't mean, hey, there's something in here to say that wine is good for you. So we can't say the fact is wrong, but what can be said for a biased fact? A fact that, yeah, here it is true that wine's good for you, but also don't overlook the fact that all this other stuff is true also that's not good for you, or whatever it might be. I'm not trying to like, you know, be triggering on the word wine here. I just, whatever the topic is, while sure, maybe the fact, let me put it this way. We don't actually know the fact without consensus. Even if we could know the fact without consensus and it was just self-evident, how much of that is biased? How much of that is we cherry picked to satisfy our narrative? Hey, I'm not lying. Hey, I'm not deceiving anything. I'm following the truth. Follow the truth where it leads. How many of us have heard that? Just follow the truth where it leads. That's not very helpful, because if you just cherry pick the truths that you want, you're still following the truth. Follow it where it leads. Well, this can get very convoluted and messy. So the fact is that facts are deceiving, or at least what we call facts are deceiving. Or how about this one? Oh boy. Facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. You know what I find the most triggering about that statement? Work with me here, okay? Those of you watching, I love you, but work with me. Think about that statement, right? To say facts don't care about your feeling is a statement itself that relies on emotion. First of all, do you have facts to prove that facts don't care about your feelings? Which would be really interesting if you had facts that prove that, because the statement in itself is self-contradicting. It's not true. What came first, the fact or the feeling that such a fact even exists for us to discover? The intuition that we should look for such facts at all. To think that facts don't care about your feelings, I don't know how much I want to talk about that because it triggers me so much. It's just completely false. It is outrageously false to say that facts don't care about your feelings. The best we could do is say, well, what we really mean by that is, and then we sort of chisel away at what this statement means so that it can fit our narrative. Well, what we really mean is, and you can see why that gets me so triggered. Once upon a time, that was a mantra for me until I actually took 5 minutes to think about it. Do I think that emotions trump facts? I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if somebody wants to argue that facts trump emotions, for the love of God, don't tell me that with an emotional statement. So now I'm not just triggered, I'm venting. I'm venting. Please bear with me. Not to mention, what do we base facts on? We base it on evidence. Evidence that, well, who got the evidence? How biased is the evidence? Let me see if there's anything good to say about facts, because obviously I'm not against facts, and I think that if somebody here's what I would say. This is why I lean toward paradox so much. Paradox are the most clear-cut facts out there. If it If by its nature it contradicts itself, it can't exist. Fact. There we go. And guess what? I don't have to show you evidence to do that. I don't have to show any kind of consensus based, somebody told me that I'm telling you about this evidence. It's just fact. A round square can't exist. The number 7 cannot also simultaneously be the number 4, right? Or whatever paradox. One of the biggest paradoxes that I like is time machines can't exist. We can't go back in time, and it will never happen. And the reason is because the paradox of physics. If I was to go back in time and, let's say, shoot myself, then how would that work? Because I never existed to shoot myself to begin with. I should say shoot myself to death. Then how would that have even happened? Because I never existed to shoot myself to begin with. Fact. That to me is a good fact. It is not a good fact to me to say, we know that this aspect of society is better than that aspect of society because the facts say so. I'm sorry. You lost me. You lost me. All right, I'm rambling a bit here. I'm venting a bit, and I think I should leave it at that, lest I make people too angry. But on that note, as always, thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time.